The first thing I ever wrote in my mind, I was playing this score, and the music's so dramatic. My dad comes in and rushes in the door and goes, "What are you listening to? Did you take one of my albums?" I go, "No, this is mine."
Calm the hell down.
It's not yours, Dad. It's my music. But because he thought it was Bernard Herrmann's Obsession, and it sounds a lot like it. But I'm listening to this music, and I guess I've always been a romantic, and that's another reason why I love this Dracula the most, because it's the romantic story. But my imagery was of Dracula and his lover floating in the air, and I didn't know what lovemaking was, so it was all the kissing, you know. So they're kissing or whatever, and biting and whatever, and the castle's going up in flames, and the sun is rising, and all the people, the torches are coming, but they basically make a choice to say society, and they burn up in the air, right? Which is pretty cool imagery for a 6-year-old child, right?
That's deep.
Yeah, and I've always related to the tragedies, man. I think that they're more. Well, let's get real. I mean, life is tragic. I mean,
well, and that had a lot to do with when we were growing up. The films that we were watching in the 70s were very, very, very dark, and you had that particular group of filmmakers that were kind of on the rise, that were making these films that weren't as full of sunshine and optimism as the films that had preceded.
No, they're more realistic. And think about, this is one thing I love about Dracula, our generation, in the 70s. Coppola is known for The Godfather, 70s, right? More or less the king of the 70s. Granted, there's Lucas and Spielberg who were doing their thing, which are phenomenal, but Francis just, it's really hard to not think of the 70s and not think of The Godfather. But then the 90s come, and our generation gets Dracula. And this film was the source of redemption for him, because his career was kind of going all over the place, This movie kind of saved him and put him back on the map.
It saved the studio, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But this movie, more or less to me, is our Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this. I'm shifting themes here, but when you think of The Godfather, you remember the music. You remember Nino Rota's music, and it's hallmark, and it's classic, it's epic, it's romantic. And I gotta tell you, Jim Hart, Coppola, cast, crew, DP, all make Dracula great. But Wojciech Kilar's music for Dracula has to be one of the best soundtracks in cinematic history.
It is next level.